Thank you, everybody, so much for coming today. I don't know how you can wrap up somebody's life in a few paragraphs in a few minutes, but I'm going to do my best. I'd like to thank the staff of Woods Funeral Home for everything that you've done to help our family plan and organize all of this. It's been wonderful and very helpful. I'd like to thank all of the members of the fire departments and National Guard and military for everything that you have done. Very supportive, and everything that you've offered our family. Thank you so much for everything that you've done and for being here today. What a legacy that John has established in his 39 short years. As we know, Jonathan was born August 6th, 1985 to my Uncle Lonnie and Aunt Nancy in Salt Lake City, Utah. Soon after he was born, Lonnie and Nancy decided to move back to Idaho Falls. Jonathan was the sweetest little boy with a bright, beautiful smile. He was adored by his grandparents, and they introduced him to the great outdoors at a very early age. And this is where he acquired his love for camping, hunting, and fishing. Jonathan was my little buddy from the beginning. I spent a lot of time with Lonnie and Nancy and was able to babysit him often. A couple of years after he was born, Jonathan became big brother when baby Laura came along, and he loved his baby sister. Jonathan and Laura were my little sidekicks as I grew up. Jonathan attended Tiebreaker Elementary, Bonneville Junior High, and Bonneville High School. As a youngster, John could always be found running around with his friends in the Oklahoma States, many of whom he kept in touch with over the years. He loved building Legos, and to this day, he would sit down and help kids build. Throughout his childhood and into his high school years, John played baseball, and he was damn good. He played mostly, he was the pitcher on the different teams. He started with Little League and went all the way up until he couldn't, where he suffered an injury. And his sophomore year, he decided to switch to football because of his injury. His senior year, he enthusiastically joined the Honeybees dance team to support the girls. During his senior year in high school, John placed first in the state welding competition with VICA. He was a really good welder. And he went on to nationals in Kansas City, and my husband went with him. It was also during his high school career that Jonathan started his journey to becoming a firefighter. At 18, he joined the Yukon Volunteer Firefighters, where he earned the rank of lieutenant before retiring after about 10 years. Where he retired about 10 years ago. Jonathan also supported the Ammon team as part of his tenure. He completed many classes and earned several certifications, which attributed to his rank. And when I mean certifications and awards, there's so many. I've gone through so many of his files and paperwork, and I had no idea. There's so many certifications and awards. He was amazing, and he was good at what he did. After high school, for a time period, Jonathan worked construction for a few years. He loved operating the backhoes and the excavators, and he helped us build our home. he was always there. In April of 2008, John decided he wanted to join the Idaho National Guard when he was 22. He did basic training at Fort Leonard Wood in Missouri. Through his loyalty and leadership, he earned the rank of Staff Sergeant. Sergeant Reed provided a letter to the family regarding John's service that I'd really like to read at this time because it's very, very touching and it's heartfelt, and it sums up John's career in the military and his life. Staff Sergeant Jonathan Elma Walker honorably served in the United States Army as a 12M firefighter in the National Guard. Throughout his career, he demonstrated unwavering commitment to his duties, embodying the values of loyalty, duty, and selfless service. His military journey began on enlistment April 11, 2008, and he faithfully served until February 26, 2025. Staff Sergeant Walker served with distinction in the 939th Engine Detachment. His expertise and leadership led him to roles as a lead firefighter, where he played a crucial role in training, readiness, and emergency response operations. His assignments took him to various locations where he ensured the safety and preparedness of his unit and those they served. His dedication earned him numerous awards, including the Army Achievement Medal, the Army Reserve Components Achievement Medal, National Defense Service Medal, and the Armed Forces Reserve Medal. These honors reflect his exceptional service and the impact he made throughout his career. Beyond his military service, Staff Sergeant Walker was a devoted family man and a steadfast friend. He was known for his strong work ethic, his willingness to help others, and his unwavering commitment to those he served alongside. His leadership and presence will be deeply missed by his family, friends, and fellow soldiers. Staff Sergeant Walker's legacy lives on through the countless lives he touched, the mentorship he provided, and the example he set as a soldier, firefighter, and leader. He will always be remembered for his bravery, dedication, and the profound impact he had on those around him. Jonathan did serve about a year in Romania. One of his fondest memories and experiences was playing golf on a golf course that overlooked the Black Sea. And he was very proud that he was able to launch a few balls into the sea. He took a par. When John wasn't training or serving his country, he drove truck for a few years. He loved that 18-wheeler. He would bring it to our house and try to park it in the driveway. And one time I actually got in it and I got in trouble. But anyway, it was awesome. He liked to take his cousins and friends on rides with him when he'd go long haul. But his issues with high blood pressure caused him to have to quit driving truck. After that, Jonathan became a quality assurance inspector for Botanic Produce in 2017, where he worked until his passing. And as you know, I work for Botanic and have been there for a long time. So it was awesome to be able to work with him. And he would always come in and see how things were going. And he'd stop by my office before the end of the day to check in and just talk about whatever. And I still expect him to come in that damn door. Or hear him out talking with people. Everybody misses him very much at work. As well as the packing sheds that he would visit. He's made so many friends. In 2024, he earned the Customer Service Award due to his unwavering commitment to customers and his peers. John took pride in his job and strived to deliver the highest quality product as a representative of Botanic. Jonathan would always pitch in to help with whatever project family and friends were working on. He could always be found hanging out with all his family and friends, any given weekend, any given day. Jonathan always had to have music playing. Sometimes it drove us a little nuts, but he had to have his JBL speaker, and it didn't really matter what was playing. There had to be music playing. He couldn't stand the silence, and it wasn't long before we heard some music going. Jonathan let the girls paint his toenails and fingernails. And if you saw his hands today and yesterday, one of the last things that we did was we let Kelly and Dana's girls in and let them paint his toenails and fingernails in the hospital room. And he also would sit still long enough for said girls to put beads and rubber bands in his beard. It wasn't so fun when they had to come out. Jonathan supported his family and friends with sporting events, competitions, dance recitals, fundraisers. He was a sucker for Girl Scout cookies and cookie dough. In fact, when February hit, he's like, who's selling cookie dough? And he's got Girl Scout cookies. Most of us would always end up every single day getting some sort of funny meme, video, something texted to us from Jonathan, and then he was sure to follow up with you. Did you see it? Did you look at it? Did you see that video? Because he wanted to share a laugh with you. Some other things. Jonathan was the worst person to take swimming. He did not like to get splashed, and he would let you know it. It was just kind of funny, but so he didn't go swimming with us very much. He also did not like watching scary movies, which is like a staple in our house. We love to watch scary movies, especially ones about paranormal activity, and he wouldn't have it. Wouldn't do it. He's like, I don't want to get possessed. However, he did love the Disney movie Tangled. Frying pans, who knew? That was his favorite movie. As we all know, Anheuser-Busch has lost an avid investor in Bud Light and financial supporter. We feel he was probably their final sole investor. A few other things that we will always remember Johnny. I call them Johnny-isms, and a lot of you have seen the stickers that we've created and made to keep with us. But just the sayings that he was always saying, it was just amazing. His fatty pills were the M&Ms, peanut M&Ms. Obviously, I've seen the swing and udder as his call sign. And so there was just so many things that he would say that are always going to be there. Aunt Nancy would like me to share a few memories from when he was a youngster. One day doing laundry, she felt something slither across her foot and looked down to find a garter snake. Upon discovering and searching, she found that there was their bathtub full of snakes. Jonathan and Laura would like to go down to the canal, catch snakes, and bring them home and put them in the bathtub. On another occasion, Nancy discovered John's experimentation with hairspray and open flame in the bathroom. She was confused why there was a large rug in the bathroom until she moved it and found a large circular burn spot in the linoleum. Yes, he was a character in Night Mischief. A couple of my own stories. Several years ago, we had a party at our home. Several of you were there. It was an adult party. No kids were present, and it was very late at night. We were all having a really good time. My husband came up to me and informed me that I needed to go deal with my cousin. I went outside, and in front of God and all who were present, John stood there in his naked glory, wearing only his combat boots, drinking a Bud Light, and smoking a cigarette. I was mortified. I don't want to see this. So, making sure I only looked him in the eye, I explained that his existence depended on how quickly he got his clothes back on. And he immediately said, well, it doesn't matter, the military already took away my dignity, so I don't really care. So, that was the one and only time that happened. Thank goodness. Another little story that I have, one of the many camping trips that we were on, we were up in Anna Park, and we decided to take the family and everybody into West Yellowstone. And Jonathan was sitting in the back, and we got up to the gate, to the entrance, and we're getting ready to pay or whatever, and his window's down, he pops out the window, and he's like, do you have any turtles here? You know, he loved turtles. And the young lady was like looking at him, and she just kind of laughed and didn't really know what to say. And he's like, well, I like turtles, and I hope I get to see some. And you know, it was really funny. So we've always had turtles for Jonathan. So my whole life, Jonathan has always been with me and my family. He was like a little brother to me. I'm not ready for him to be gone. He was supposed to be at Shelby's graduation in a year, because he was there for our first 3 kids' graduations. He was supposed to be at our kids' weddings. He was supposed to be here for camping and fishing this summer. We would walk the Birch Creek together as we fished all day long together. And he was supposed to be here for his 40th birthday in August. He had plans to go to Vegas with his best friend Chris. And he was supposed to be here for so much more. Believing that he has been called on another mission to serve at a higher level helps me cope with the loss. I know that he is our guardian angel now. We can't see him physically, but we can see him in acts of service and love. We can hear him in the music we listen to, and we can feel him when we reminisce about all the good times we had together. Jonathan's final act of selflessness came from his organ donations. We recently found out who the transplant recipients are. His lungs were given to a 61-year-old man. A 59-year-old woman received his liver. His left kidney was gifted to a 33-year-old man, and a 30-year-old woman received his right kidney, and all live in Utah. He has gifted these people more time with their loved ones. When Laura and I picked this day for the service, we didn't realize that the Idaho Falls Pipes and Drums were the same day, the March in March. I know my husband and several people want to attend that before the celebration of life tonight, and we encourage you to do so, because he would have been there with his firefighters, with his buddies. As I wrap this up, I do want to remind everybody that we do have the Johnny Walker celebration of life tonight at his parents' home in Yukon. And so we hope to see you all there, where we can share more stories and more time together. After this song, I would like to invite anyone up that would like to speak for a few minutes. Again, I thank everybody so much for all of your love and support for our family. Now let's listen to some Five Finger Death Punch. Thank you.
So I don't know how to put into words what Johnny Walker meant to so many. All the memories from the many, many drunken nights. Fantastic grilled cheese sandwiches that Ma and Laura would make us so we could have something in our stomachs. To golfing, to Vegas, to beer fest, everything. He was always there for everybody and everything. But my fondest memory was we were going to our friend Chalet's house one afternoon, and we're coming around the corner and we see an accident. Somebody had ran into a motorcycle, and John, of course, the first instinct was to get out and help. We missed the accident maybe by a minute or so, and the gentleman on the motorcycle had a very severe fracture in his leg. His bone was poking out of his pants, and Walker calmly walked up and said, "Everything's gonna be all right. Paramedics are on the way, but I'm here until they get here." And I'm assuming it was the lady that had hit him, was frantically on the phone, couldn't speak a word to the paramedics, and John simply looked up and said, "Ma'am, may I have your phone?" Took the phone, talked to the dispatch, told them everything that was going on. And as soon as the fire department shows up, I think you were probably there, McKinney. But he came out and just started talking to them like they were buddies. Explained everything that was going on, told them what was happening, and he was working with them like they were working all day long together. Once they got him loaded up in the ambulance, we got back in our car, and the first thing he said was, "That deserves a beer." So he reached in the back, opened up the case, got his Bud Light, cracked it within seconds, and we were on our way. He always knew how to have a good time, and always knew how to love everyone. I'm gonna love and miss your brother. Just to make sure when you pick me up at the bus stop on the way to hell, you have a Bud Light for me.
I don't know how many pieces of paper I have ripped up in my garbage. And then one day, someone walks into your life, a total stranger, and they become so important to you. And while you've known them such a short time, you feel like you've known them for a lifetime. Late nights, early mornings, cold beers, big fires. 15 minutes early is on time, and I'm minutes late. Picking cherries, sweeping the rain, turning rocks so both sides get the sun. Monkey suits, fluffy pants, flip-flops, and no mas pantalones. Projects, time is measured in meters, not time. Water makes you weak. Conversations and movies and quotes and memes. Soy relocator, and don't forget left-handed when angry. Walker was always there for the hard time and the big projects, down to the small ones. It didn't matter. He always answered the call. We started our friendship with him being the guy on the couch. And he finally moved in with me and Dana when we moved over into our house on Higby. We soon became brothers, and his family became my family. And at this time, it was long enough in the years where even people started joking around that he was the second host. He was always there for me and Dana and the kids. He always found time for the kids, showing Cameron how to throw a baseball because I couldn't throw her shit. Watching Tango with the girls and let them painting his toenails and fingernails. House projects, and I have a few. Making moonshine in our shed, white trash bashes, and Halloween made it to where everybody on the block knew that we were the Spider House. camping, fishing, hunting, and all the damn chores. I didn't know how to finish this or say goodbye, but it's not goodbye, it's see you later.
I'm glad he wrote something down. I did not write anything down, so we'll see how it goes. My name is Nathan McKinney. I'm also known as Mac, or Big Mac to the guys in the military. Appreciate the guys that did show up. You hear all the stories from the family. You guys never get to hear the stories from the guard. It's probably a good thing. I had no clue that he had gotten a tattoo of swinging udders on him. And I told the family, well, that's my fault. I may have came up with that. We were driving from Driggs to Boise or one of our other things for training, and we had the music going in our fire truck on our headsets as always, because surprisingly, me and him are very similar. Always have to have music playing, always have sarcastic comments, dark humor that can't be said in public. It's just part of being a fireman, part of being in the military. That's what we do. We were just coming up with funny names. I don't know where it came from. It's probably the nozzles that hang underneath our fire trucks, but for some reason the phrase swinging udders was just so hilarious. It's probably the amount of Mountain Dew we had in our system at the time. And it's something he just latched onto, and I didn't realize how much it was until I found out he had that tattoo. And because everybody called me Mac, and his call sign, I guess, was that. But I grew up with all sisters. I didn't have any brothers. He was my brother. They have a phrase now they call trauma bonding. We just call it normal life in the military. Because between different kind of leaderships and different kind of experiences we had together, you spent a lot of hard days with each other and a lot of funny moments. And we always tried to be each other's comic relief during those times. That's how you get nicknames. I was the one always taking pictures or cooking for everybody, and I was his personal designated driver. If you didn't notice, he liked his Bud Light. And nobody ever believed I was in the military unless I wore a uniform, because I never got in trouble, I never got a DUI, I didn't get divorced, didn't have a tattoo. Not the typical military guy, but I was everybody's designated driver, especially Walker. So wherever he wanted to go, I usually took him. And we always got in trouble together, got yelled at together. I won't use the specific language, you can fill in the words, but we were sitting in a class one time, and some of the guys were talking, the guy teaching the class got tired of guys talking, so he yelled, "Shut up, Walker," but he didn't put another stronger word in there. He was sitting there eating a bowl of cereal, he hadn't said a word. But the target was to go to him because me and him were always making sarcastic comments, always interrupting. We just couldn't be quiet. And so that became the phrase. So anytime somebody needed to be quiet, it was always "Shut up, Walker," even if it wasn't him. Everybody knew it. It just became a phrase. We just all started yelling. And so some of the phrases you guys heard, he always yelled at us too. But he was always giving, he loved being a driver of the fire truck. That was his pride and joy, was taking care of the fire truck. When at the time they ran, they don't run anymore. Because once he promoted out with me, I brought him on as my team leader, and we always try to keep it fun. Our whole unit was work hard, play even harder. We probably went guard unit that bought a smoker and took it out to the field with us to plug it into our fire trucks and have food instead of MREs, because we'd much rather eat regular food than an MRE. But we always drink our Mountain Dew, and until the day was over, then I make sure he was taken care of. It's been an interesting change for me because I just retired out of the unit a couple years ago. So I look forward to every weekend or once a month to show up and get to be with the guys. That was the only time I got to be with the guys. Like I said, I didn't have any sisters growing up. I mean, any brothers. All I had was sisters. When I joined the military, I got a whole handful of brothers. We've been through a lot together. I'm glad they're here today. My son recently joined the military. And after this week, he was called to check on me, and I told him, I can only hope you find as good as friends in the military as I did. Because that's through the trials I've had, my dark days, having friends like Walker's got me through. Showing up to march and marching his kilt. And my kilt, we always hang out together. He gave me a ride in his semi-truck once over to drill, picked me up at 5 in the morning from the fire station, and we rolled over together. And I know that was his passion to be a firefighter. That's what he loved. We used to compete to see who could stay in the fires the hottest and the longest. He made and melted a few masks or quite a few helmets, as you saw his helmet out there, because it was just a competition to see who could be in the heat the longest. And by dark humor, I think he won. He'll be in the fire the longest. But I'm thankful for the family I've met. We went hunting. He invited me out with his friends and family hunting about a year or so ago, and I got my first elk. And he was so proud to watch me be able to take care of that thing and not make a mess, because I don't think he trusted me with a knife. But he even helped my kids out. My kids never been, so he was always one to help the kids out and make sure that they were included. And the friends and family that I've met that were his, they just took me in like it was nothing. And I don't think he realized that my kid loves big fire too. So we just gave him the job to make the fire bigger. And Walker just like, let him do it, make it bigger. And so my family enjoyed being with Uncle Johnny Walker. We called him Uncle Walker since my wife was, the main name was Walker, so he's probably related somehow. If your last name's Walker in this valley, you're related. So he was probably related, so to our kids, he was Uncle John as well. I appreciate the time I had to be with him. I appreciate everyone for coming out today, and we hope we can honor him with our military rights. Thank you.
John was the best. John was the best. And he was the best, and I loved him, and everybody will love him, and everybody will miss him. I don't know why he did this to everybody. Because everybody, thank you for coming.
Debating whether to come up with everything coming up, but you know me, I'm not I don't like speaking in crowds, but I love hearing all these stories, and I was thinking about memories, and the one that stood out to me was several years ago my husband Dan and I went to go visit Becky and Carrie with our 5 kids in tow, and of course when we get there, John's there, And my youngest, she's probably maybe a month old, and really fussy. And I'm trying to get her to calm down, and John's there, and he says, I'll hold her. And I didn't really take him seriously. I mean, I've seen him energetic and teasing and stuff, and so I thought he was just joking. And for a few more minutes, I keep just struggling with her, and he's like, okay. He's like, just let me have her. And I looked at her, my baby, and I look at John. I'm a little nervous, I'll admit. But I hand her over to him, and you wouldn't believe it, she just melted in his arms, and she was so calm, and gave a stressed out mom a little bit of time to just relax, and he just held her, and that was a side to John I had never seen before, and just appreciated so much that. And I imagine, although he has passed, I believe that that's what he's still doing. He is calming and those that need to be calmed, and helping those that need to be helped, and still being a jokester.
It's times like this when they tell you don't know what to say, that speak from your heart, but it's hard to speak from your heart when it's broken. But John wasn't a traditional family man, but you look around the room and man, he was our family. Every one of my kids learned that you either don't show them a bruise or not wear a bundle, or one of the two. He's joking. All my little changes took 2 hours because he was there to help me. He's looking down right now, and the only thing I can think of is he's looking at every one of us and he's saying, I need cry. He's going to be missed.
I think the biggest thing I'm sad about is that you guys got to know him probably maybe longer than I did. He started at Batandon, and I worked with him at Batandon, and there was 3 of us in the QA. We were pretty much the 3 amigos, and we had a lot of fun together. Our boss made us do a lot of crazy things, and he did it he's like, well, let's go flip and do it. I edited that, as you all probably know. But we did everything together. We climbed piles of potatoes together. We QA'd together. We kicked pallets together. That's inside knowledge for people who know anything about potato QA. Just one specific story. I don't know why this one sticks out in my mind, but we had a whole bunch of potatoes that we had to get out of some cellars because they were going bad. So we spent about 2.5 months emptying these cellars. And John had never operated a scooper before, which is the machine that takes the potatoes out of the cellar and puts them on trucks. He's like, oh, I'm gonna figure this out. So he gets on there and starts driving that thing around, and probably by the end of the day, he was a professional at it. And I was in the truck moving the piler around. And we were at a specific potato cellar that was a very tight turn for some of these truckers to get around in. And this professional trucker comes in, he's like, I can't make that turn. I'm like, well, what are you gonna do? I gotta get this truck in here. He's like, I just can't make that turn. What are you gonna do? And John's like, I'll do it. He's like, fine, get in the truck. So John jumps in the truck, pushes that thing in. 2 seconds later, pushes it right through because we had to stick this piler arm into the truck, and he just was like, dang, dude, you missed your calling. You should be doing this instead of scooping potatoes out. John's a great guy. I've noticed there's some of the potato shed managers are here that he worked very closely with. He was tough, but he was also a very good man. He was very fair. And like I said, I worked with him for 5 years, and miss the man. He was a great, great man and very kind-hearted. He was not afraid to get his hands dirty.
I have a really old story, and probably Carrie's the only one that's going to remember. Me and John and Carrie, and there might have been one other person, I don't remember who it was, went hunting, deer hunting, and you're talking 20, 25 years ago, and John, he was young, probably around 12 or 15, somewhere in there, and we get done hunting, and I noticed John's backpack looks like it's got like 100 pounds in it. I said, John, what do you got in that backpack? And he opens it up, and he probably had 7 bottles of Pepsi in his backpack. So it seems like before he started loving Bud Light, he certainly had a love for Pepsi, and he had at least 30 pounds of Pepsi in his. He had at least 30 pounds of Pepsi in his backpack, and I said, John, why do you got all this Pepsi? And he's like, I don't want to run out. He certainly didn't run out. And one thing I can say is everybody liked John. He was everybody's friend. And I know for a fact, all of Carrie's kids, they couldn't have had a better, I guess he'd be their uncle. He's going to be their guardian angel, and, if they ever needed anything, he was there. And you guys are very lucky to have such a good friend, and I'm going to miss him.
John, obviously I didn't know him, just being the funeral director to take care of the family, but every time I'm meeting with a family or dealing with work things, it's not a coincidence that the families we take care of, that we have similar, likes or hobbies. Big fan of Mountain Dew. Unfortunately, I don't drink alcohol, but and then also the music that was selected. I'm a big fan of Five Finger Death Punch, and appreciate hearing the music there. Another thing that I like to point out, I feel like first responders and those that are in the service are always willing to help out, no matter the situation. Whether jumping out of the car to go help a individual in an accident, or even someone passes away and they still want to help. John, as we heard, donated his organs, and I think that is incredible that even though he's passed on from this life, he's still helping people out, and so we appreciate that. At this time, we will turn the time over to the Bonneville County Veterans Memorial Team, Bonneville County Veterans Memorial Team, and the Idaho Falls Honor Guard, and Idaho Falls Fire Department.
The veterans of Bonneville County and the Army Military Honor Guard have come to honor the memory of one who offered his life in the service of his country, who is now enrolled in that great Spirit Army whose footfalls cause no sound, but in our memory their souls go marching on. Proudly we remember their service in time of war. Because of them, our lives are free. Because of them, the nation lives. Because of them, the world is blessed. May the ceremonies of today deepen our reverence for our dead. Chaplain.
Let us pray. O God, who heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds, look in tender pity and compassion upon thy servants, whose joy has turned into mourning. Leave them not comfortless, but grant that they may be drawn closer to thee and to one another by their common sorrow. Fill their souls with the light and comfort of thy presence. Grant unto them such a vision of that life wherein all mysteries shall be revealed, and all tears be wiped away, so that they may be able to endure. So dwell with them until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
When the call of our country was heard, Jonathan answered. Self was forgotten for a greater cause. As a brave man, he marched away with abiding faith in his God, his country, and his flag. The red of our flag was made redder still by his heroism, the white more stainless pure by the motives which impelled him. And in the starry field of our nation's banner, the field of blue has been glorified by the service he has given. As the years roll on, we too shall have finished the fight and be laid to rest, and our souls follow the long column of the realms above. Let us so live that when the keeper of the eternal records has called our name for the last time, those we leave behind may say of us, as we now say of them, here lies all that is mortal, a true comrade, a defender of country and flag.
This banner of our nation about to be folded is a memorial in honor of Jonathan, who served in the armed forces of our nation. This flag is presented by the Bonneville County Veterans and the Army Military Honor Guard on behalf of the United States government in recognition of his willingness to defend our country with his life, even if it meant to die for our country, as did so many of our comrades who gave their lives in time of war. The blue field of our flag represents the sky that overlooks our land and denotes the watchfulness of God the Eternal. The red stripes tell us of the blood, sweat, and tears that have been offered and conquered by our comrades and their devotion to the responsible freedom of our country. The white stripes boldly proclaim the peace that they helped to bring to our future generations.
Publish the order.
Yes, sir. Department of the Army, this is to certify that the Secretary of the Army has awarded the Army Commendation Medal to Staff Sergeant Jonathan A. Walker, Idaho Army National Guard Training Center, for exceptionally meritorious service spanning 14 years in the Idaho Army National Guard from April 11, 2008 to February 26, 2025. Staff Sergeant Walker served with distinction, demonstrating unwavering dedication, professionalism, and selfless service. His commitment to soldier care and development of junior soldiers was unmatched. He displayed dedication to duty by actively supporting training exercises, improving emergency response readiness, and ensuring the safety of personnel and assets. His devotion to duty and the Army values left a lasting impact on those he served with. Staff Sergeant Walker's legacy of service and sacrifice reflects great credit upon himself, his unit, and the Idaho Army National Guard and the United States Army. Signed, Eric D. Sharp, Colonel, Field Artillery, Idaho Army National Guard, Commanding. Flag detail.
I'd like to thank the Bonneville County Veterans Team and the Idaho Honor Guard and Idaho Falls Fire Department. There's not a better way to honor someone who's served their country. This does conclude the services, and we appreciate you for coming. Thank you.